Here's more wrestling news for February 21st, 2022. And your headlines for this afternoon include friends of AEW star reportedly worried about his health in the company, ex-WWE superstar takes a dig at the company with latest name change, backstage reaction to Hall of Famer's Elimination Chamber performance revealed, Booker T has 2 unique picks for the WWE Hall of Fame, Kevin Owens gives latest tease that he'll face Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 38, AEW star plans on having more cinematic matches within the company, update on Madcap Moss after scary bump at Elimination Chamber, The Undertaker brings back iconic Gimmick for Bad Bunny concert, and more. We are kicking off today with Keith Lee, who made his debut for AEW earlier this month, qualifying for the Face of the Revolution ladder match on March 6th. One person certainly not a fan of Lee is PW Torch's Wade Keller, who has often criticized the former NXT champion for his physique in the past. On the latest edition of PW Torch Audio, Keller claimed that his comments aren't mean-spirited, but he's simply echoing what those closest to Lee have told him. He explained, "Friends who care about him talk to me. If Keith Lee is wrestling, he's in the ring wrestling, putting his health and the well-being of his opponent on the line. If he's cleared for that, he can be cleared to work out and get in shape. One of them texted me after his match on Wednesday and was lamenting how he looked." Ironically, Lee's physique, alongside his incredible athleticism, has made him stand out from other powerhouses in wrestling. But as far as Keller is concerned, he's not the only one who thinks the Limitless One needs to shed some pounds. Last November, John Morrison was released from WWE with his 90-day non-compete clause with the company expiring earlier this month. Morrison hasn't wasted any time now that he's free to work anywhere, as he recently returned to AAA with a brand new name that takes aim at WWE. From now on, Morrison will work his AAA as John Superstar, a reference to WWE's term for its in-ring talent, which has been a sore spot for years with fans who would rather they be called professional wrestlers. This is now the 11th name Morrison has worked under, as he's previously wrestled as Johnny Nitro, Johnny Mundo, Johnny Impact, and other names, but he's now looking to carve out his spot in AAA as John Superstar. Elimination Chamber news now, as Lita challenged Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch in Jeddah, but was unsuccessful in taking the title away from the man. Although she didn't leave as champion, the WWE Hall of Famer certainly held her own against her younger opponent and has impressed the right people behind the scenes. PW Insider reports that many within WWE were blown away by the fan reaction Lita received during the event, which was one of the loudest pops of the entire event. Post-match, Lita thanked the fans, and many have speculated whether this was her last match. But after the reaction from the fans and those backstage, perhaps a women's title run isn't out of the question for the Hall of Famer. This year, The Undertaker will be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame after a legendary 3-decade career with the company. The dead man will no doubt headline his class, but we're yet to see who will join the Phenom as a Hall of Famer, and Booker T has some unique ideas. A 2-time inductee himself, Booker said on his Hall of Fame podcast that 2 people he'd like to see inducted are Doink the Clown and Shane McMahon. Booker said he has no problem with Matt Bourne, the original Doink, being inducted, calling him a hell of a worker who had a hell of a career. In his praise of Shane McMahon, the former WCW World Champion said how Shane's in-ring performances make him a candidate, such as his war with Kurt Angle at the 2001 King of the Ring. With Shane being released from WWE earlier this month due to backstage issues at the Royal Rumble, WWE probably aren't looking to bring Shane back just yet, but he and Doink will be Hall of Famers one day if Booker T gets his way. Earlier this month, it was reported that Stone Cold Steve Austin will come out of retirement to face Kevin Owens at WrestleMania 38. Austin's last match was all the way back at WrestleMania 19 in 2003, and as of late, Owens has had plenty to say about Austin's home state and the home of this year's WrestleMania, Texas. Even off-screen, the prize fighter is keeping this pseudo-storyline going as he took aim at the Bionic Redneck in a response to a fan's tweet this week. When a fan asked Owens what he thought of Texas, specifically Victoria, Texas, the hometown of Steve Austin, the former Universal Champion responded saying it sounds like a really lame place to be. Austin's return has apparently come around because WWE has much more money to offer him than ever before, thanks to their record-breaking profits in recent years. At this time, Austin himself hasn't responded to Owens' tweet or to the rumors of an in-ring return at WrestleMania, but if WWE pulls it off, it'll certainly make for a match worthy of the biggest show of the year. In 2016, Impact Wrestling had the final deletion match between Matt and Jeff Hardy, proving that cinematic matches could work in wrestling. With promotions having to go without fans in 2020 and 2021, cinematic matches have become more regular, and we'll soon be seeing much more of them in AEW. Although Matt debuted in AEW as his broken persona, the character was nixed as there was no live fans to react to it. But on The Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, he teased bringing the character and those responsible for the final deletion back. I would love to do a silly-ass Broken Matt series, whatever it may be. I'm sure Jeff would be down for it too, he loves that nonsense as well. I think it could be really fun. Maybe one of these days we'll get Jeremy Borash back. Matt may want to bring Borash, who produced the final deletion, to AEW, but the longtime Impact Wrestling staple has been with WWE since 2018. Whether Matt can get Borash remains to be seen, but it's expected that Jeff will sign with AEW when he can, and could very well bring back his brother's Broken character upon his arrival. More from Elimination Chamber now, as Madcap Moss suffered a scary bump during the Saudi show in his match with Drew McIntyre. After taking an inverted Alabama slam, Moss landed on the top of his head, and we now know more about the SmackDown superstar. In an update from Fightful, it's noted that Moss was fine after the match, and there's no heat on either him or Drew, who is held in high regard for being a safe worker. McIntyre was said to have been very concerned for Moss after the bump, despite the former 24/7 champion assuring him, the referee, and Happy Corbin that he was fine. Backstage, there was a lot of concern for Moss's condition, but when he got to the back, he was completely fine and personally apologized to Drew, the producers, and Vince McMahon for the incident. Moss wasn't hurt, but he was lucky to get out of the match without a serious neck injury, and it goes to show that accidents can happen at any time. And we're ending with more news from The Undertaker, who will make his first on-screen appearance for WWE since his 2020 retirement at the Hall of Fame, but he's still making appearances outside the company. During Bad Bunny's El Ultimo Tour del Mundo on Saturday night, the former WWE champion made an appearance in full American Badass gear, complete with riding out on a motorcycle. There had been a point where WWE were planning for The Undertaker to appear at Elimination Chamber, but this has been described as a cameo, which would not have been a part of any angle with a current superstar. It'll be interesting to see which side of The Undertaker fans get to see on April 1st at the Hall of Fame, but after a truly legendary career, the Phenom is enjoying his time out of the ring. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.